Have you ever asked yourself, why don't my videos look like the movies? Is it the size of my camera? Is it the sensor? Is it the lenses? Is it the budget? What is it? Okay, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you have a huge expensive camera or if you have a tiny mirrorless like this one. You can still make a pretty passable cinematic look. And technically, I could actually shoot a whole Netflix documentary film series with this camera because it's actually, well, this is not actually Netflix approved, but the FX3 is, which is pretty much the same sensor, which means with this camera, I could potentially make a Netflix quality of film. So what is missing? Why our videos don't look like the movies? Why do we shoot films and videos and anything we're shooting with these cameras don't look the same like a Netflix documentary or a Hollywood film? Well, it's everything around it. Lighting, budget, lenses, everything I mentioned before. It is actually important. But there is one trick that actually everyone uses but no one talks about that will help you step up your videos to the next level and makes them look a bit more cinematic. And this one thing I want to talk about today, it's halation. See, the thing is, with cinematography and everything around it, the more I learn about it, I actually figure out that it's not the same as photography, right? I personally started as a photographer and then slowly leaned into video, and now I do 100% videos. I barely take any photos anymore. So as a videographer, filmmaker, cinematographer, leaning towards that direction, I'm actually realizing the difference that in photography, we all want this beautiful, sharp look, but in video, we don't. Specifically, if you're chasing that cinematic look, the last thing you want is a sharp image. In fact, if you watch any movie, everything they're chasing is this analog film look, which is made out of imperfections, which is made out of a tiny thing that go wrong in the lens, which is made out of texture like grain. It's made out of all of these elements that make the cinematic look. It's not a beautiful, sharp image. And so out of all of these elements, I always make sure that I add these to my films, to my videos, to anything really I do. Grain, halation, and glow are the best example of this. Specifically, glow and halation just adds this beautiful film look. So let's take a look at these shots without any glow or halation. And now let's look at the same shots, but with glow and halation added. Well, you might be wondering, what kind of plugins do I need for this? How much money do I have to spend for this? And actually the answer is none. All of this can be done in DaVinci Resolve. All you gotta do is know how to use it. There's a few ways you can do this, but the way I prefer to do this, it's going into the color tab, adding a node at the end of everything, at the end of your color grading, and there is where I add glow and halation. What you're gonna do is go into effects, search for halation, drag, drop it. Now here you can also add grain, but I don't recommend adding grain within this effect. I recommend adding grain as a first node and using the grain effect, just because it's a bit more precise and you can control how much grain goes in shadows, midtones, and highlights, and have more grain in highlights, for example, and less in shadows, which is what I do most of the time. So once you drag and drop your halation effect onto the footage, you're going to see that nothing really has changed because you have to play around with everything that DaVinci gives you. Here, it is very important to add halation first and understand how it's going to affect the footage. In fact, it really depends. Sometimes in some part of the footage, it doesn't really look like there is anything, and then something get backlit or something, it's just very contrasty, and then this huge thingy on the edges comes up. So always add halation first, play through the footage, make sure that it's well balanced throughout the footage, and then add secondary glow. Secondary glow also I recommend adding a little bit, but not too much. This will allow your footage to look a bit more like film and just less digital, which is what we're chasing here. We don't want our footage to look digital. This is all that I'm trying to do. This is all the cinematographer tried to do. Take this beautiful footage, take it with a beautiful, expensive camera, and make it look the less digital as possible. Make the film look happen. So play around with the secondary glow, play around with your halation, play around with your grain. Don't be scared of making your movies a bit more rough, because that's the film look. Imperfections. That is, I think if you want to take away one word from this video, it's imperfection. That's it. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Hope you learned something new. And if you did so, leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you again for sticking around. I love you.